Tonight on CTV News at 6. Timmins police make arrests after a pair of drug busts.
This was a proactive investigation initiated by our drug enforcement unit.
While the latest on what was seized and how many are being charged. Plus, officials are working to come up with a solution for the homeless in North Bay.
It's become so onerous to get building permits because of the red tape that's involved.
It comes after some looking to help hit a snag with the permitting process. And Northern Ontario chiefs head to Parliament Hill demanding action.
Water is a basic human right. This government must act immediately. We cannot afford to wait any longer.
The Prime Minister says he'll have legislation by the spring.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. Timmins police have charged several people after 2 search warrants led them to the seizure of more than $20,000 in drugs. Yesterday afternoon during the 5 o'clock hour, a heavy police presence on Cedar Street North resulted in the arrest of 2 Timmins men and 3 people from Southern Ontario. Then around 9 p.m. police searched a second home on 6th Avenue. Police say the investigation netted drugs like fentanyl and cocaine, as well as $5,000 in cash and a loaded gun.
This was a proactive investigation initiated by our drug enforcement unit, and based on the evidence they managed to collect during their investigative techniques, they made application for a controlled drug and substance warrant. In this case, it was granted by the courts, hence the execution of the warrant last night.
Police officials add the arrests are not connected to the ones that took place last month on Jubilee Avenue East. 2 women from Moose Factory First Nation were arrested this morning in Cochrane as part of a joint drug trafficking investigation. The women were arrested at the Ontario Northland Station before boarding a train bound for Moosonee. They were identified through a joint drug investigation between OPP and Anishinaabe Police. Police seized more than $8,000 in suspected fentanyl and methamphetamine. The chair of the district of the Nipissing Social Services Board in North Bay is working to come up with a permanent winter solution should there be an overflow of homeless people needing a warm place at the low barrier shelter. The plan was to build 2 trailers beside the shelter space, but building permit snags have halted the process. CTV's Eric Tashner with more.
Since the end of spring, Social Services Board Chair Mark King has been pushing to get 2 trailers built at the low barrier shelter to use if there ever was an overflow of homeless people needing a warm place. But this plan has hit a snag in the building permitting process.
It's become so onerous to get building permits because of the red tape that's involved.
The trailer idea was seen as a cost-saving measure instead of having to resort to a more expensive method, hotel rooms.
It's all about the budget of DSAB. Trying to save money to avoid that circumstance.
King says that it came to light the permit application was missing information.
I don't really know. It actually, we have a subcontractor that's doing the work.
While he stresses that it isn't a city staff issue, King says there is an overarching challenge getting building permits approved. I
spent the majority of the morning on the phone talking to all kinds of different people that are speaking about the difficulty to get building permits. So in my mind, there's something not working.
At this point, the Social Services Board has been able to handle the capacity at the low barrier shelter and its neighboring Northern Pines Transitional Housing Complex.
We're into the winter months. Ground is frozen. It makes it impractical to actually start construction. So this whole project will get pushed ahead into the new year.
King says he plans to bring up the issue to Ontario's housing minister at the AMO conference in January. In the meantime, he says the hotel room option will be available as a last resort. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
New tonight, the Chiefs of Ontario is calling up the federal government for what it says is years of unacceptable delays. Chiefs from all over Ontario, including the North, were on Parliament Hill yesterday. They want the 2021 First Nations class action settlement implemented. At the center of this settlement is water. According to the Chiefs of Ontario, a third of First Nations still face drinking water advisories.
At this moment, 58 nations in Ontario are on long or short-term water advisories, and more are likely on the horizon. That's a third of all First Nations in Ontario who cannot drink safe drinking water in their homes.
In the settlement, Canada committed to tabling legislation and providing sustainable funding for safe drinking water for First Nations. The chief says they're wondering, where is that bill and the funding?
Right now, without water legislation, there's no enforcement of regulatory regime for water and wastewater in First Nations. There's no legal recognition of our First Nations governance over water.
According to their figures, causes for poor drinking water include faulty infrastructure, deteriorating water sources and aquifers to water contaminated with bacteria and uranium.
This silence is unacceptable. It is gravely concerning that the Government of Canada feels it can operate in this way while our people struggle every single day with the consequences of underfunding and inaction.
More Frappier says water infrastructure is failing because successive governments have not made the investments to maintain safe and reliable water systems in First Nation communities. The group says it's been told by Indigenous Services Canada Ontario region that there is no more funding for First Nations water infrastructure.
This is unacceptable. It undermines reconciliation. It undermines the Crown's fiduciary responsibilities, and it undermines the dignity and the rights of our people.
Water is a basic human right. This government must act immediately. We cannot afford to wait any longer.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised clean water legislation to come in the spring, but the chiefs say this is a promise they've heard before. Their message to him: will you be the PM that moves beyond promises and gestures? And CTV News reached out to the Minister of Indigenous Services, Mandy Golmasti, who says clean, safe drinking water in First Nations is a top priority for her and the government. In a statement, she writes, in part, our government is committed to ending the remaining 38 advisories, and we've allocated an additional $2.3 billion for that purpose in Budget 2025. I am honored to continue advancing this important work together. The Prime Minister faced some heat and question period yesterday. It had to do with Ottawa's move to offer financial supports to Algoma Steel, despite being aware of the company's plan to lay off about 1,000 workers.
How is it the Prime Minister could have been so incompetent to saddle Canadians who can't afford to pay their bills with a $400 million bailout bill without any guarantee of jobs staying in Canada?
I quote the CEO of Algoma Steel that there would be an even darker day if this government hadn't acted. That loan, that support gives Algoma a bridge to the future.
The province also gave the Sault Ste. Marie Company, which is Canada's last standing independent publicly owned steel producer, $100 million. The Ford government is echoing Carney, saying it was a choice between saving 2/3 of the company or losing it all.
Well, the investment that we made in Algoma was necessary, first of all, just to keep the doors open, to make sure that that they're available to be open today. And we saw the president of Algoma say if it wasn't for that investment, they wouldn't be here today. They would be completely shut down.
Economic Minister Vic Fideli said a change in operations at the plant had meant layoffs were coming regardless, but the Trump tariffs accelerated the process. Time for our first check on weather. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, I'm done with winter. Is it over yet?
Well, Ian, for all you seniors out there, and Ian referred to himself as a senior last hour, you thought I might have missed that. Let's take a look at, what Environment Canada has to offer. Right now, we do have some snow squall watches in the Northeast. And again, once again, it's one of those situations where we're going to have some heavy precipitation in some areas overnight. Here is the system right now moving through the Northeast. And again, some substantial snowfall accumulation tomorrow. We'll get into those numbers and a lot more a little bit later on in the 7-day forecast. Our current temperatures pretty cold this evening, coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back to you.
Very cold. Thanks, Rick. Still to come on CTV News at 6. A new state-of-the-art mannequin is giving students a leg up at Health Sciences North. And a woman in Lively is honored for her efforts in helping to make it a Merry Christmas for those who have aged out of foster care.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The hospital in Sudbury has a new lifelike mannequin in its simulation lab, helping medical learners prepare for a specific surgery. The project is a collaboration with Cambrian College, and CTV's Angela Campbell reports.
And that's the injury that we've asked our learners to identify and stop.
This surgeon stabilizes a cardiac arrest brought on following a stab wound to the chest. It's a procedure known as a thoracotomy. The patient may be a mannequin, but the anatomy is realistic.
We're actually able to get a beating heart inside the chest that learners need to repair in this particular circumstance, and they actually have fluid coming out of that heart.
The heart and rib cage were designed and built by engineering, computer programming, and graphic arts students from Cambrian College. Learners at Health Sciences North have been training on this one-of-a-kind simulation model this week.
Also, it's cutting through the skin, intercostal muscle layers, spreading the ribs apart, cutting through the pleural liner, and then accessing that heart and lung space.
The students use 3D printers to make the anatomically correct pieces, using different materials to create realism for the learners.
That popping you hear when you actually are cracking ribs, you get that from a filament style printer that you wouldn't have got with our resin printer. So they had made the changes using the 3D printing equipment they had here, and that gives them a more realistic feel when the learners are going in through the ribs.
Each learner is evaluated by instructors watching in the control room on the other side of a one-way mirror. HSN's chief of staff, a general surgeon himself, says the procedure is rare. Some medical professionals might never perform it, but they still need to know how.
The whole point of this trainer is to not only recreate that scenario of realism, but to also more globally ensure that our learners understand when it's appropriate to use and when it's not appropriate to use.
Although there are other thoracotomy trainers on the market, Wood says none are as realistic as this Cambrian-built one. Angela Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, today, a woman from the greater Sudbury community of Lively was honored with a YMCA Peace Medal. Katie Scarf donates her time to organize and coordinate an effort to help make Christmas brighter for youth who have aged out of foster care. CTV's Alana Everson reports.
And I think what better way than giving...
Katie Scarf receives a YMCA Peace Medal. She was honored for organizing Christmas gifts for youth in care and says she is humbled.
Joy as well that it's been recognized, but certainly want to acknowledge all the people that are part of this as well. I know organizing it is something, but the people that contribute are quite incredible.
Katie really exemplifies community compassion and care in this work. A lot of empathy in towards the youth that are in care.
Her family was on hand to deliver the gifts to the Children's Aid Society for distribution. Volunteers gather wish lists from youth ages 18 to 23 who have aged out of the foster care system but still have contact with Children's Aid. Families and businesses then purchase and wrap those gifts.
The 18 to 23-year-olds are now out on their own. They need things for their home to make it feel a little bit more comfortable. And so this is a great opportunity to give them both practical things and a little bit of joy this season.
Scarf previously volunteered on the effort, but took over as a lead organizer 2 years ago from the original founder.
I hope that it brings that sense of community, that there are people out there who care.
I think of those youth who are living on their own, who have no networks, no family, and hopefully this just gives them a smile on Christmas morning.
72 youth will receive custom gifts from their wish lists. Organizers say many of the requests are for practical items, like grocery vouchers, silverware, blankets, and towels. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Laurentian University has released its preliminary enrollment figures for the fall 2025 term, showing stability in its overall student population. Officials say it's largely driven by a resurgence of interest from domestic students, with enrollment rising by 8%. 27% of the student population is now studying in a French language degree program, the highest proportion in the university's history. Meantime, Laurentian has seen a decline in international enrollment by 28%.
We're certainly optimistic that our numbers will continue, at least stabilize, and if not, trend upwards somewhat. So it was a very large bounce last year. It's unlikely that we manage to get yet another same size bounce, but certainly we're looking to keep the momentum going and to continue increasing. On the international front, the country has made its announcement. We're still waiting from the province to see how many seats will be permitted. My initial thought is that Laurentian will have basically an equivalent number this year as last year.
Meantime, Demers says the university will focus on making sure international students know Laurentian is an option for them and dispelling the myth that Canada is not welcoming to them at all. A heads up to patients and visitors at the Sault area hospital, parking rates are increasing. According to the hospital, rates with the exit fee will increase to the public from $6 to $7.50. Starting in the new year, parking rates will also increase for staff and doctors. The rate change comes as the hospital is dealing with a deficit for the second consecutive year. Discounted parking passes will continue to be made available. Approximately 3,800 students in the Sudbury and Manitoulin districts have missing or overdue vaccines, according to the provincial immunization database. That from Public Health Sudbury and districts, which is reminding parents and guardians to update their child's vaccine records. Starting in December, Public Health will start reviewing records and will be notifying families if their child is missing vaccines. Under law, the medical officer of health can issue suspension orders to students who don't meet immunization requirements. Students could be suspended up to 20 school days or longer if required. Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman. And Rick, my snowblower is getting quite the workout.
Make sure you have it handy at least for tomorrow, Ian. We've got some squall activity, some flurries. Let's check out our forecast radar and our current conditions. Here is the system that is going to move into northeastern Ontario for tomorrow. Get ready for that. 5 to 10 centimeters in and around Greater Sudbury, more in the Sault and of course North Bay. We'll get into that in the 7-day forecast. Meanwhile, our current temperatures, have a look now. Nice and clear. Again, but cold, minus 28 Moosonee, Cochrane minus 30, minus 29 in Timmins, minus 28 in Kapuskasing as well. So we've got some temperatures and even, well, the clicker has managed to freeze up. It's that cold, Ian. It's that cold right now. Can we move on to the next screen right now? I guess not. But anyways, it's going to be cold for tonight. Supermoon, the last supermoon, I've got to throw this in. It's the last one of the year. If you get a chance later on, make sure you get a picture of it because it is, after all, the last one. We'll have to wait till next year for our next occasion of the supermoon. A couple of days ago, I had a chance to go out to Health Sciences North and I met a beautiful woman. Her name is Penny, and she is a breast cancer survivor. I would like to share her story with you. Take it away. Here's why it's so important to contribute to the HSN 50/50 draw, because we have a cancer survivor and Penny Pagan with us. Penny, thanks for doing this. Tell me about your journey.
My journey started 2 years ago. Just after Thanksgiving dinner, I realized that something wasn't right with my left breast. I reached out to my doctor immediately the next day. We set up a mammogram with the breast screening center here in Sudbury, and within minutes I knew that there was something wrong. They detected that there was a lump in my left breast. They further went on with other discoveries that I also had lymph nodes that were also testing positive to cancer. The journey was a long one. They whisked me off within a month to chemotherapy, 8 rounds of chemotherapy, then a double mastectomy in April, and in July I started 16 rounds of radiation. So after that, I've been cancer-free for now a solid year. Fingers crossed, a solid year.
Without the equipment that is actually here in the building at Health Sciences North, let's talk about the PET scanner.
The equipment here in Sudbury at our hospital has been life-saving to me. I've had 4 PET scans so far, and each one, like I said, has been very quick to give the results that I need to move forward with my treatments. My doctor, I could have the PET scan on a Monday and my doctor would have the results from that PET scan the next day and was able to move forward with my treatments very quickly.
Penny, you've been getting a lot of support at home, but you're also in Sudbury where you don't have to travel and take those extra trips out of town.
I'm so fortunate to not have to leave Sudbury. I'm so fortunate and blessed to have everything done here.
Beautiful just to have the opportunity to talk and to meet you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Penny.
Merry Christmas.
Penny, cancer survivor, perhaps you can help the next cancer survivor by contributing to the HSN 50/50 draw. Remember, you can't win without a ticket. Just like Penny, do what you can.
An important story. We're with you, Penny. Thanks so much, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. A U.S. trade representative says his country could leave the free trade deal known as CUSMA. And Canada will have to pay a fee if it enters a new security deal with Europe. Tariffs and trade are behind expectation. Food costs will overtake inflation next year in this country. It means you should anticipate paying more for beef, chicken, and vegetables. At the grocery store, with the average family of 4 shelling out almost $1,000 more in 2026. CTV's Abigail Beeman breaks down the numbers and the specifics behind the jump in expenses.
As a new and breastfeeding mom, more expensive food prices mean hard decisions for Valerie E. Madison.
Well, now even the quantity of food as well, I have to cut a little bit, to have the quality, so you have to cut it because, yes, it's just so expensive.
According to a new report, overall food prices are expected to jump between 4 and 6% next year, leaving a family of 4 with an annual grocery bill of $17,571 and change, up almost $1,000 from last year.
This is our 16th edition, and so we've never predicted an amount like this.
The biggest driver this year, beef, climbed 19% in the first quarter and 7.2% overall.
Because of beef prices, people are so shocked they pivot towards chicken and pork. We're also expecting prices for both chicken and pork to increase as well.
Other factors impacting food prices are the trade war, the GST holiday, and changes to the temporary foreign worker program.
10.6 million Canadians are food insecure, but those that are missing meals on a daily basis or weekly basis, those are 2.8 million. And so food banks right across the country have risen to the occasion.
Food costs have driven Paul Wang to take transit.
You have a choice of gas or the food.
It's terrible, because I'm on a lower income.
In addition to the U.S. trade war, the report notes other things to watch next year include the impact of more severe weather events and the new grocery code of conduct, which fully comes into force in January. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump could decide next year to withdraw from the Canada-United States-Mexico Trade Agreement, or CUSMA. Politico is reporting today, citing U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. In a podcast episode that airs Friday, Greer told Politico's White House Bureau Chief Dasha Burns that Trump only wants deals that are good and that a review period was built into CUSMA in case we needed to revise it, review it, or exit it. Greer also raised the idea of negotiating separately with Canada and Mexico, suggesting the agreement could be divided into 2 parts. The European Union says Canada will need to pay 10 million euros, about 16 million Canadian dollars, to join a defense procurement agreement with the continent. The price tag is raising questions about how much investment the pact will actually generate. Canada has officially joined the Security Action for Europe program, otherwise known as SAFE. It's part of the plan to rearm Europe to make the continent less reliant on American defense technology and funding. A European Union spokesperson says the fee paid by Canada is based on the scale of potential contracts. The EU has asked the UK to pay between 4 and 6.5 billion euros, several times the size of Canada's fee. A terrifying moment for a U.S. Air Force pilot ejecting as his fighter jet plummeted to the ground in a fiery crash. This video shows the massive fireball as the F-16 Fighting Falcon crashed in a dry lake bed near Los Angeles on Wednesday. You can then see the pilot descending with a parachute opened. The incident happened during a training mission. The pilot was taken to hospital but did not suffer serious injuries. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Luigi Mangione was back in a New York court today, exactly 1 year after he's accused of having gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The 50-year-old was shot dead as he walked to a New York investor conference. At issue today is whether or not potential jurors will hear key details like the weapon used and writing in a notebook that allegedly shows Mangione's disdain for healthcare insurers. Prosecutors claim that amounts to a confession. The 27-year-old has pleaded not guilty. There's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman. And Rick, I guess we should explain why you're on the side set, not the weather studio today.
Yes, because the telethon is coming up in just a couple of days, and they've kicked me out of the weather studio. So here I am in my favorite place to sit. This is where we normally shoot Take Me Home Tuesday. So we're just chatting, having fun, and you know what? Things freeze up from time to time, but it's all good. Let's check out our forecast radar right now. This is what it's going to look like tomorrow. Again, what's going on with this? What's going on? We're going to try this one more time. Ian, try your clicker over there. Nothing's moving. Okay, there we go. Through the magic of television, here's our system moving in. Appreciable snow squall and flurry activity in Sault Ste. Marie and North Bay for tomorrow. Overnight conditions, chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury, -8 in Sault Ste. Marie, a few centimeters. Timmins, of course, we've got a few centimeters of precipitation as well. Temiskaming Shores, wind chill in effect, and North Bay, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow overnight, but a lot more coming up tomorrow. Let's roll the next board if we can get there right now. No, it's not going right now, so let's keep it going. Okay, so this is what we're looking at for tomorrow. I know this by heart right now. It looks like Sault Ste. Marie, Ian, is going to get about 10 centimeters of snow in the forecast for tomorrow, and a few more tomorrow evening due to the squalls and the flurries. Let's shift gears, as Tony would like to say, and move on over to North Bay. 10 to 15 for tomorrow. Some squalls and flurry activity. Then tomorrow evening, an additional possibility here of 5 to 10 or perhaps even 10 to 15 more. So North Bay is going to get it heavy-handedly. And Sault Ste. Marie during the day, 10, maybe 15 centimeters of squall activity. We're not going to be as cold as we were tonight and continuing in the early hours of tomorrow morning, but overall not a bad forecast. And in case you're kind of wondering about the temperatures for tomorrow, pretty stable. Greater Sudbury, 5 to 10 centimeters of flurry activity as well. But the two really big areas will be Sault Ste. Marie and North Bay. So how is that, Ian? Off the top of my head right now, making up the forecast as we go. That is fact, not fiction. Had a chance to drop by and talk to Shane over at Health Sciences North. We're talking about the new 50-50 draw for the month of December. This is what he had to say. We're off and running with the HSN 50-50 draw for the month of December as we end the year. And with me right now is HSN Shane Gordon. Tell me, what's new for the HSN draw this month? I know you're full of surprises.
It is the biggest draw of the year every year for us. This month, we're featuring a $1 million guaranteed grand prize. There's $120,000 in early bird prizing, which is, I believe, the most we've ever done. And in that prizing is a draw for a 2026 Ford Bronco Sport as well.
You're blowing me away already. Yeah, so we talk about the proceeds and the money, the ticket sales, everything is so beneficial to the hospital. Can you elaborate?
It's a super important question to us, and really it goes towards three main things here at HSN. One is priority medical equipment needs. The other is cutting-edge medical research. And then, of course, looking at the future healthcare needs of Northeastern Ontario for, capital expansion.
And we've heard that testimony from really earlier on in the program about how the proceeds help. If there's one thing that people don't know about the HSN 50-50 draw, what would that be?
Man, if there's one thing, it's really just about that impact, I think, and having that local flair to it. Looking back at Penny's chat earlier about all of the ways that her care was impacted by folks here and by equipment here, a lot of her steps through the care were impacted by the HSN 50-50, whether that was through the breast cancer biopsy equipment or the radiation bunker renovations that happened at the Cancer Center a few years back. All of those were made possible because of generous people in our community and in our region supporting the Health Sciences North 50-50.
Okay, now Shane calls you to remind you each and every month to get your tickets. Perhaps he could be calling you the next time when you're the grand prize winner for the month of December. HSN's 50-50 draw underway. Get your tickets today. Okay, we can't forget our illustrious pick of the day, Ian. It's always a great time to talk about it, so let's roll the pick of the day. This is Rick Burton talking about some beautiful trails in the North Bay area. Love that snowfall, love the snow effect, and a lot more. The trees and the trail. That is a very peaceful walk. I'd love to be able to do that. Rick, thank you so much. Perhaps your pick could be on tomorrow at this same time. Stick around. Ian Campbell will have more news coming up after the break.
Officials in Malaysia say a private firm will resume a deep-sea hunt for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which went missing more than a decade ago shortly after takeoff. They say the search will be carried out by a Texas-based marine robotics firm called Ocean Infinity. The company has signed a no-find, no-fee contract with the Malaysia government. If the wreckage is found, the government will pay out $70 million US. As many people cross items off their holiday shopping list, they may be looking to stretch their dollars by taking part in buy now, pay later plans. The plans can be convenient, but if you sign up for it, too many of them at once, you could quickly snowball into unwanted debt. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
You may be tempted to buy now and pay later. For Pamela Reyes, it seemed like a good way to stretch your budget.
A big portion of it was just convenience, being able to split the payments so I wouldn't have to take big hits to my bank account.
But it's very easy to lose track of buy now, pay later loans, especially when taking out more than one at a time.
The smaller ones kind of took me off because I forgot about them. If I'd been in paycheck to paycheck situation, that could have been kind of disastrous.
Consumer Reports found buy now, pay later can lead to overspending and sometimes debt.
With the cost of living, these little microloans might be tempting to turn to, especially if there might not be as much room in your budget.
Buy now, pay later missed payments can trigger higher than expected fees or interest, and missed payments may even show up on your credit report.
Some buy now, pay later lenders report missed or late payments to the credit bureaus, which could hurt your credit score, just like missing a credit card bill. That's why it's so important to stay on top of the loan payments.
When using these services, choose loans carefully and check if you will be charged fees or interest.
Avoid taking multiple loans out at once. And if you do, try to stick with the same company so you're not managing payments from different places.
Set reminders for due dates. That can help avoid missed payments or overdraft fees.
That's a dangerous trend that can really get people in a really difficult situation, and we're hoping to see a reduction in that and more awareness around these debt types.
And keep in mind, when it comes to returns, it's much easier to sort them out with a credit card. With buy now, pay later, refunds can take longer to process, and you may need to keep making payments until it's resolved. As for Reyes, she's decided to be more careful before using the plans.
If you could not afford to make the payment in one go, I would not even consider the buy now, pay later.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
As more and more Canadians decide not to travel south of the border, destinations in this country are becoming more attractive. Take the city of Calgary. Tourism officials there say 2025 was a banner year and next year could be even better. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Nearly 1.7 million people call Calgary home. Known for its food, blue sky, and stampede, the city has quietly become an attractive tourist destination.
Over 11% in international flights at the start of this year, over 9% growth in domestic flights. So more people are showing their appetite to come to Calgary, and the business community is responding and connecting us to the world. So that's fantastic. When we look at our visitor numbers from South Korea, from France, from the UK, they're really strong.
Tourism Calgary says 2025 has been a record-breaking year for tourism. Events like the G7 Summit, the Calgary Stampede, and the Rotary International Convention all fueled the boom.
We celebrate that we're a winter city, and one of our passions at Tourism Calgary is ensuring that Calgary is a vibrant city year-round. So when I look at what we've accomplished in 2025 between new flight connectivity, between the growth of our meetings and convention space, it's clear that people want to see Calgary.
Officials say visitor spending was up 4% compared to 2024. Hotel occupancy also soared. This year, the largest monthly increases in visitor spending were in May at 8.8% and June at nearly 23%.
Great food. The people are great. The sites are wonderful. We managed to go to downtown. We hit up Banff and Lake Louise. Got my butt kicked snowboarding.
Alpine skier Philip Armstrong visited Calgary from Toronto to see friends, but also to prepare for his NORAM in Colorado. He also had the chance to train with the national team at Nakiska.
The culture around here for skiing is awesome. It's definitely not the same in the East Coast, so pretty special. So always great. Have a ton of friends here at the University of Calgary and staying in Calgary a few nights and tons of fun, and I loved it.
2026 will see 19 major sport, culture, and major events come to Calgary in the first 3 months, along with 12 conventions. Tyson Fedor, CTV News.
Law enforcement in Sault Ste. Marie joined forces this week to kick off a campaign to keep the roads safe this holiday season. Officers from Anishinaabeg Police, OPP, Batchewana Police, Sault Ste. Marie Police, and RCMP joined forces to launch the annual Festive Ride campaign. It's an initiative that aims to both rid the roadways of impaired drivers as well as educate others. During last year's campaign, 700 vehicles were stopped and checked by officers during the holiday season, resulting in 1 criminal charge, 2 7-day license suspensions, 1 14-day license suspension, and 5 other provincial offense notices issued. Sault Police Chief Brent Duguay says they've seen an increase in impaired driving, especially as it relates to impaired by drug charges.
We do have a number of officers that are now trained to detect when impaired by drug. So that's been a kind of a training issue and a training trend towards for our service. So we are able to now identify more closely when somebody is impaired by drug. Obviously impaired by alcohol, we still have the same old tools in the toolkit, the roadsides and the ride programs. So I think we're starting to going to see a leveling off now that we have those officers in place that can test for that impaired by drug.
Duguay adds that officers hear many excuses when someone is caught driving impaired, but stresses that there is no valid reason to drive while under the influence. Paramedics in Timmins participate in a long-standing tradition to help support families by running a Christmas toy drive. The fruits of their labor were on display this week inside the Cochrane District Paramedic Services Ambulance Bay. The 14th annual Fill-In Ambulance Toy Drive took place at Canadian Tire and Walmart last Friday. Officials say these donations will be delivered to the Northeastern Ontario Children's Foundation. They'll be given to families who receive services from the Northeastern Ontario Family and Children's Services through its Community Angel campaign.
We're pretty successful, honestly, every year. This year, just as good. We've collected hundreds of toys, as well as over $4,000 just to go out and buy additional toys that may not have had been filled for certain age groups or age categories.
It's really supporting, parents be able to give those gifts to their kids, and that's why we always ask them to be unwrapped so that parents can go through, see what they're actually being able to offer their kids and wrap those and put them under their tree.
Since 2020, this event has raised over $26,000 and filled 12 ambulances with gifts. Canada Nickel will be helping haul all those goodies to Neofax this year. Way to go, paramedics. A long-standing Christmas tradition in the greater Sudbury community of Lively will continue again this weekend. Santa will be parading around the streets on Saturday. It's a more than 40-year tradition organized by the local volunteer firefighters. Santa and his crew of firefighters will be slowly driving around the community starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday and going until about 2. Such great guys we have volunteer firefighting around the north. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. We'll introduce you to the new head coach of Northern Ontario's only professional basketball team, the Sudbury 5.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
The Sudbury 5 announced the new head coach and general manager today, along with some other announcements to amp fans up for the season to come. CTV's Madison Marier has the story.
Joey Pudister has been officially named as the new head coach and general manager of the Sudbury 5.
It's pretty special to be able to come back to a place that I have history as a player and take on the head coaching job. I'm just really excited for the opportunity.
Some fans might remember him from the 2018 to 2020 seasons when he played for the team.
The support has been fantastic already, and the whole team, the whole organization has been really great in terms of getting everybody hyped up for the season.
Just met Coach Joey a couple days ago, but so far it's been great. He does know the system. He really puts us through great workouts. I'm really excited just to get to know him better and just, win with him.
However, coming off a winning season, the pressure is on. And Puttister said he is building on the foundation that outgoing coach Logan Stutz built.
He knows the role he's coming in to fill. He knows the situation of us winning last year, and I think he's on the same page and he's excited to do it again.
My teammate Charlie would say pressure is a privilege. So we're really very excited to have that pressure on our back this year. We're looking forward to that.
The five also shared the third team jersey and themed nights to make sure fans are even more excited for the season to come, which tips off on December 29th with a banner raising. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Only one game on the docket in Northern Ontario last night. That one was over in Powassan. It was a tough night for the French River Rapids. The Rapids fall to the Voodoo 12-2. The Voodoo's Jesse Lefebvre with a hat trick to earn first star of the game. Tonight, the Sault Michigan Eagles land in the Nickel City to take on the top-rated Sudbury Cubs. Game time is 7:10 p.m. Over in the OHL tonight, the North Bay Battalion are playing host to the Sarnia Sting. That game gets underway at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow night is CTV night at the Sudbury Wolves game, where myself and some of our staff will be giving away these limited edition telethon ornaments for a donation to the 77th annual CTV Lions Children's Christmas Telethon. Money raised at the telethon helps purchase toys for us, as many as 10,000 families this year will be in need. And congratulations to Renee Roy, or Wash. She was the winner of the Pure Country draw to attend tomorrow night's game. You can tune into the telethon Saturday, December 6th, starting at 2 p.m. on CTV in Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie. For the rest of the region, you can watch on our website on CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Those in the Sault and Sudbury can also catch us on Crave. The Olympic flame has been officially handed over to Italy in the run-up to Milano Cortina Winter Games. The flame was handed over to Italian organizers in the all-marble stadium in Athens, where the first modern Olympics were held nearly 130 years ago. From Greece, the flame will travel to Italy to kick off a 63-day, 12,000-kilometer relay through Italy before the opening ceremony on February 6th. The songwriter and guitarist behind some of the most well-known songs of the 20th century, Steve Cropper, has passed away. Cropper, whose hits include Green Onions, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and In the Midnight Hour, died yesterday in Nashville. The cause has not been released. He was 84 years old. Some familiar titles are returning to big and small screens near you. David Daniel has that in tonight's Hollywood Report.
By surviving hide and seek, you've triggered a new game. This time against the High Council families. Double or nothing. This part will be familiar. They will try to kill you.
Samara Weaving has to survive another killer game and save her sister, played by Catherine Newton, in Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nestor Carbonell, and Elijah Wood co-star in the action horror sequel, which lands in theaters next spring.
Every choice, every mistake carried you to this spot.
Chad Powers will take the field again. Hulu has renewed the football comedy starring Glenn Powell for a second season.
I know what it is to risk everything you have for something that you want.
If you want to see Denzel Washington in Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest on the big screen, you've got another shot. The drama about a music mogul in a life-or-death moral dilemma returns to theaters for one night this Saturday, December 6th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
EQ Bank is buying President's Choice Bank for an estimated $800 million. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
EQ Bank is a digital financial services firm. It sees itself as a challenger to the bigger traditional lenders. As part of the deal, EQB will take on President's Choice 2.5 million customers and close to $6 billion in assets. Loblaw will keep a 17% stake in EQB. The deal also makes EQB the financial partner of the PC Optimum loyalty program, which has more than 17 million members. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.64. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 59.67. Western Canadian Select is up to 45.63, and the TSX gained 317 points to end the day at another record high of 31,477. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the key current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down 89 cents, closing the day at 42.0769. U.S. an ounce. Silver down $1.39 to end the day at 57.04. Copper down a penny to end the day at 5.20, and nickel up a penny, ending the day at 6.69 U.S. a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at the weather.
We hope. Let's check out tomorrow's numbers right now, Ian. We've got 5 to 10 centimeters, some flurry and squall activity at Greater Sudbury, -6, -4 in Timmins, 10 centimeters for tomorrow, 10 to 20 in the Sault, and of course more tomorrow evening as well. So again, that's going to be an interesting day in Sault Ste. Marie. Okay, let's switch boards and check out North Bay, -2. Take a look at those numbers. 15 to 25 during the day, 10 to 15 at night. Parry Sound 5 to 10 during the day, 5 to 10 at night. And Temiskaming Shores 5 to 10 centimeters, another 5 at night. Ian, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Well, Florida police found themselves clearing an unusual roadblock this week.
Get on the leg, get on the leg. Everybody get on the leg. Get on the leg.
That's a massive 14-foot, 600-pound alligator that was tying up traffic in Sarasota. The gator was so big it took 7 deputies and a trapper to remove and load it into a truck. The sheriff's office says the reptile was released to an alligator farm. That's our newscast tonight, and we'll see you later, and have a good